wanted to highlight many different ways that you can be a part of our community. We're going to have our guest speakers join us any second, and we have a few things we want to share with you before we invite our guest speakers to share with us. First is the Journal is looking for a digital production editor. We are interested in people that are interested in typesetting pages and in using digital technologies so that we can do the same thing that Taylor and Francis does, that Sage does. In fact, Krishna is going to talk about this in a second. Did you know it costs about, your charge about $2,500 to publish one article in most for-profit journals? Did you know we can publish an entire issue for $1,200? And that's because of people who volunteer, like our digital production editors. We're also interested in people that use email engagement. As Krishna talked about, we send out about a message a week. You may not get a message a week from us, but that's because we're looking to send messages that are relevant to different members of our community. And we're looking for somebody who can serve as an editor of the Global Connections journal and our email newsletter as a way to engage our audience. And if you have experience in user experience design, please reach out. I've had a number of people from the noon meeting reach out. If you're interested in using multimedia, or you're familiar with using email marketing like MailChimp, we are interested in talking to you about ways that you can engage our thousands of members across the world. Let's look at the next slide and highlight a few more things, and then we'll have some of our guest speakers who've joined us here tonight. So the last is talking about voices of new generations of scholars. I want to highlight, this is again, not an add-on. This is a part, and in many ways, it's the culmination of our Critical Conversation series. I can't emphasize enough, if I ask everybody here tonight who uses Google Scholar, my imagination is that every hand would go up. What if I told you, and I encourage you to Google this if you don't believe me, what if I told you that Google Scholar privileges people that already have a large number of citations, it privileges pieces with already citations, and it privileges journals that are in quote ranks is very high. What does that mean? It basically means in the world of academia, it works like the world around the world. The rich get richer, and those who don't begin with the same kind of privileges don't have the same opportunities. We believe we can counter that, and we're going to be working to uplift new voices of generations of scholars and different things that we're doing structurally with the journal to make sure we're highlighting new voices, new perspectives, authors from the Global South, minoritized perspective, underutilized theories. We're going to be doing this proactively because the Google Scholar algorithm is broken. It is meant to reinforce the already loud and powerful voices and make those voices expand. And we need to make sure that we are the voices and we uplift the voices for new generations of scholars. We do this primarily through the Star Scholars Network. We don't have our president, Utham Gali, here tonight, so I'll explain his part, Krishna, if you want me to briefly talk about STAR. Krishna is going to talk about open access since he was the visionary behind open access, and then I'll say a little bit about STAR.
Thank you, Dr. Glass. Open access is a new landscape in publication world. Nowadays, you have heard the stories of universities not subscribing the traditional subscription from Elsevier or any other traditional publishing house. Open access has a power and privilege for the authors, and the readers to instant download and to develop the new dimension of the research and publications. So we want to highlight some of the existing models of publications. If you can see on the screen, traditional publishing house, Elsevier, Taylor and Francis, usually they charge $5,000 per year for the fee, standard fee to publish for authors. And if you look into the recent, publishing house, the venues, including Sage Open, AERA Open, these new venues charge roughly $1,200 per manuscript, which is quite a lot. If you consider the same amount of the money if we had charged to the author of Journal of International Student, by now, I think we have published roughly 1,000 articles. So, the individual cost, in the same ratio of the 1,200, by now would be rich, at least having 1.2 million dollars by now. However, we chose to be free, completely free. Authors and then readers has no fees to charge here, so it's completely free. And this was possible because there were some formula and some support. However, remember, for any of the publication, it costs some money, some values, professional copy editing to the registration to DOI or running hard copies. And those things were possible in our case with the support of wonderful colleagues who love our work. So I like to take this moment to thank our 100 friends of Journal of International Students who provided support. Also, the excellent contributions from 3 institutions in the nation: Old Dominion University, Emerson College, and American Council on Education. Because of their support, everything we publish on our platform are accessible to you. You can instantly download at any time. So we are very grateful to our colleagues and our funding agencies, institutions for their financial support.